Hey, this is Amal from TechLeatherCraft. I wanted to take a moment to show you guys a belt I've been working on. Now this belt specifically is made for EDC, tech, security, emergency preparedness, and or spy type things, or being like Batman without looking like Batman. So this belt is made to look like a regular belt, but it has a hidden secret zipper pocket. Now this is just a sample I've been working on, I've been playing around with. This one specifically has an 8-inch length zipper. The belt itself is an inch and a half wide. Now they do make belts that are 1 3/4 or 2 inches, but not all belt loops can take those sizes. So 1 1/2 is kind of the standard, 1 1/4 even. But I wanted something that was wide enough to be able to put a couple things in. I am thinking about making a future version of this where the zipper is a little bit longer, so maybe even 16 inches or 20 inches, maybe even 24 inches, where it kind of spans the length of the belt. And I'll explain the reason for that a little bit later on in the video. But for the moment, I just wanted to test out the 8-inch length zipper just to see how it worked. Now, a couple caveats that I'll have in the example, and I'll mention that as I go along. But you do need to keep in mind that the shape of the items, the shape of your body, the body type you have, how tight you wear your belt, or even the type of work you do, may be something to consider when you're deciding whether to put these things in. So for general use, or for like travel, you can always put cash in here. You can put a couple copies of documents, for example. So if you're traveling, one of the recommendations they have is to have backup copies, photocopies of like your passport, your itinerary, or even like your credit card you take, and things like emergency numbers that you want to have in case your phone gets stolen or lost. Now, if you're into tech, one of the things that you could keep in here are things like adapters. So for example, that Apple Lightning to headphone adapter. Some charging cables may fit in here. And I played around with putting a USB stick, a small short one, and things like micro SD or even SIM cards could fit in here. Now, the caveat that I gave earlier, you do want to be aware of the size of things, and electronics, of course, are not meant to be bent necessarily. So when I mentioned earlier about making the belt longer, part of my thought is right now with this 8-inch zipper, the pocket itself falls within like the curve of my hip. If it was a longer pocket, you could put it further down where it was like on the small of your back, kind of the flat side of your back. And so things like USB sticks and tech stuff would probably be safer in that section. I would strongly recommend that you test out any tech item with like a spare you have that you're not afraid of damaging or breaking, and so you find the right position where it's not putting too much stress on like the cable or the USB stick or the SIM card. And if possible, store it in like a hard SIM card case or micro SD card case. So that's a couple of tech things you can keep in there. So for EDC purposes, what I like to do is keep money in there. I keep about $50 worth of bills, a couple single $1 bills, for things like vending machines for emergency use. You could also keep coins in there. So I keep $1 worth of quarters in there for the times where if I'm driving around the city and I come up to an old school parking meter that doesn't take credit cards, I have at least a couple coins to feed the meter. Other things like that, like vending machines, as I mentioned. I also keep Band-Aids in here. Now these are the small type, so there's the regular type, which is a little bit too wide. I put the smaller Band-Aids in there, and these are the waterproof ones. I'll post the link to Amazon for some of these things that I'm showing in the video. You can also put small multi-tools, something like this, which is a Swiss Tech. It's like a 5-in-1 tool. The Swiss Tech has a Phillips flathead, a blade, and a bottle opener, the Uncle Bob's tweezers, or something like a generic P38 or P51 can opener. So for emergency use, those are tools you could have. Other things I've been thinking about putting in here are things like a small fire starting kit, a small rod, some cotton balls, or even some jute. And the other thing I'm working on right now is rolling up some duct tape in the right dimensions. If I fold the duct tape in about the size of what the cash is as it looks now, probably storing a couple inches of duct tape just in case, just for emergencies. The other possibilities, maybe some Swiss Army knives, some other small multi-tool pocket tools. Once again, it will really depend on the length. The tools with some length on them, you want to store on the flatter part, so either on the front side of the belt, or if this was longer, I would store it on the back side. There's a couple things I did with this belt that I would change, I think, in the next version. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I did use scrap leather. So usually when I'm making stuff for me, I use the roughest part of the hide so that I can use the nicest part for customers. So this leather isn't the highest quality. I would probably use a nicer quality leather. The other thing is I would probably skive down from where the zipper compartment starts to the buckle. Right now, this strap, I actually skived it all the way. So the full length of the belt is skived. I should have kept it thicker leather, like an 8 to 9 ounce, and just skived down from where the pocket compartment was going to start. I had skived it because I was going to double layer it, so I thought it would add thickness, but I should have actually kept the rest of the belt thicker, which is something I didn't do. So that's probably what I'll do in my next version, along with getting a longer zipper pocket so that I can actually store things kind of on the small of my back, the backside, like I mentioned. This belt is a really nice option for the times that I don't really wear cargo pants or stuff, and I don't have all my tools with me, and I don't have all my stuff. It gives me a little bit of security to know that I have a couple things, some band-aids and stuff, in case there was an emergency. This is something I've been experimenting with. I don't know if it's something I'll actually make or have on my website or make routinely. It's just something I wanted to make for myself for an EDC item. It's something you can make, I guess, with an old belt if you had one. But I'd love to know your thoughts. What kind of things would you store in a zipper pocket? Write a comment below. Let me know what kind of things you would like to store. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you're interested in TechLeatherCraft, EDC, and multi-tool stuff, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at TechLeatherCraft, on Facebook at TechLeatherCraft, and on Twitter at TechLeather. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later.